notion of what chords, shapes can mean. And as we create muscle memory through learning as many of these shapes in as many inversions, in as many octaves, registers as possible, the more we're preparing ourselves for repertoire, the more we're developing a easy, connected relationship with our instrument. And, you know, so often I meet students who tell me that they're completely paper trained and it's so difficult for them to get off paper. And I think a lot of that is ear work, kind of working to develop your ear. But I just think this idea of familiarizing yourself with your instrument has a lot to do with people's ease with their instrument and ease with not looking at the music. So shape work, different chords, is really just getting you familiar with your strings, and I think a really great way to start moving away from the page and focusing on your instrument. I think sometimes the page is not just a note map, a kind of guide. I think it's just sometimes these like a security blanket in a way, and we just need to move away from that and get used to listening and watching, and shape work is a great way to do that. The third strand of technique is individual finger strengthening. Make sure that we're not reliant on the thumb or the second finger as our strong voices, but actually all of our fingers are equally comfortable as individual voices when they're called on to be that. And this comes into play a lot when we're using our right hands as a melody voice and also as an accompaniment voice, which we often do as harp players. It's something that's unique to our instrument, is that we have multiple voices on both hands and we can play a melody and throw in accompaniment notes with the other fingers. So training our hands to be able to make the melody sing and have this kind of under voice of accompaniment in one hand is challenging and a really worthwhile focus as well. So with all that said, we're just going to do a little tiny bit of all of that. If you have your harps, let's get in the key of F major. F major, and we're just going to do this real slowly, but I'd encourage you to play along. If you're new as well, if you're interested in handouts, there's no technical handout this week, there's just a waltz. It's up on my website, maevegilchristmusic.com/handouts, I think, and we'll get to that waltz in a minute, and I'm happy with that waltz. I think it's really fun. But for now, let's just choose a shape. And the shape we're going to choose is an F major 6. I can see myself in the screen, and I'm just looking like a sweaty mess. I turned off the air conditioner because it's too loud. So if I look very hot, I am very hot. Okay, F6, F, A, C, and D. We're starting with the right hand. In fact, screw that. We're starting with our left hand. F, A, C, D, we're breathing in from the core, we're feeling our spine supported. So often you hear the word straighten your spine, but to me, engaging your core is a much healthier way to do that. You're not just jerking your back into a position, it's coming from this strong centered place. Let's go down to our bottom F6, an F triad with the 6th on top, and we're going to block it up and down the octave. When we block it, listen to all of the notes. Don't take the togetherness for granted. Make it happen exactly together. And up the octave. And down the octave. Listen to those inner voices.